smack it, Mac it, full effect, mic check, 1, 2. I'm a rain.
See, Craig Mack used to come up in the studio, man, by himself. You know, so, or have man that whoever was driving him, whoever he was riding with, he used to come over in the studio by himself.
I don't think you know what you mean when you're saying that, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what type of dude I am. You know what kind of muscle I got. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you need to be in the studio.
Diddy's Bodyguard drops a bombshell. Puff hated Craig Mack with a passion. These words send shockwaves through the hip-hop community, revealing a dark secret at the heart of Bad Boy Records. But why would Diddy harbor such intense feelings towards the artist who helped build his empire? The answer lies in a tale of broken promises, missed opportunities, and a rivalry that would shape the course of 90s hip-hop. We'll take you behind the velvet ropes of the music industry to expose the real reasons behind Diddy's hatred and how it led to the tragic end of Craig Mack's career. Craig Mack's journey from underground rapper to Bad Boy's breakout star was anything but ordinary. In the early 90s, Mack was grinding in the New York hip-hop scene, performing at clubs and dropping mixtapes under the name MCEZ. His unique flow and clever wordplay caught the attention of some industry insiders, but mainstream success remained elusive. That all changed in 1992 when a chance encounter with Sean Puffy Combs at a nightclub in Manhattan would alter the course of both their lives. Combs, fresh off his high-profile firing from Uptown Records, was looking to start his own label. He saw something special in Mack's raw talent and unconventional style. Despite Mack's lack of commercial success, Combs took a gamble and signed him as Bad Boy Records' first artist. The pressure on Craig Mack was immense. As Bad Boy's inaugural signee, he carried the weight of the entire label's future on his shoulders. Combs was betting big on Mack's potential, investing heavily in studio time and production. Mack's quirky, off-kilter flow and penchant for complex rhyme schemes set him apart from other rappers of the era. This unique style aligned perfectly with Combs' vision for Bad Boy as a label that would push the boundaries of hip-hop. In the studio, Mack and Combs worked tirelessly to craft the perfect debut single. The result was Flava In Ya Ear, a track that would become one of the most iconic hip-hop songs of the 90s, built around a hypnotic minimalist beat produced by Easy Mo B. The song showcased Mack's lyrical dexterity and infectious energy. The hook, with its simple yet catchy duh-da-duh-duh rhythm, was an instant earworm that would be echoing through clubs and radio stations for months to come. When Flava In Ya Ear dropped in the summer of 1994, it was like a bomb went off in the hip-hop world. The song rocketed up the charts, peaking at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earning a Grammy nomination. The remix, featuring a who's who of hip-hop royalty including the Notorious B.I.G., LL Cool J, and Busta Rhymes, only amplified its impact. Suddenly, Craig Mack was a household name, and Bad Boy Records was the hottest new label in the game. As Craig Mack basked in the glow of his newfound fame, a shadow was quietly growing on the horizon. What happens when a rising star suddenly finds himself eclipsed by an even brighter one? The arrival of Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G., was about to change everything at Bad Boy Records.
Of course. Yeah, okay, you know that. So Eric B was going to be over Death Row East.
And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to God. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this. But if it comes to getting ugly where somebody's gonna be trying to kill me.
Biggie Smalls burst onto the scene with a larger-than-life persona and a flow that seemed to redefine what was possible in hip-hop. His rapid ascent within Bad Boy created an unexpected rivalry with Craig Mack, the label's first breakout star. As Biggie's popularity soared, the dynamics at Bad Boy began to shift dramatically. Diddy's attention, once firmly focused on Craig, now turned almost exclusively to his new protege. The contrast between Craig and Biggie couldn't have been starker. Craig's quirky, off-kilter style and complex wordplay stood in sharp contrast to Biggie's smooth delivery and streetwise narratives. While Craig's Project Funk Da World album achieved gold status, it never reached the stratospheric heights that Diddy seemed to envision for Biggie. The glamorous image cultivated around Biggie began to overshadow Craig's raw talent, leaving him feeling increasingly sidelined. Diddy's management decisions during this period had a profound impact on both artists' trajectories. Resources, promotion, and creative energy that might have been directed towards furthering Craig's career were now being poured into Biggie's projects. This shift didn't go unnoticed by Craig, who found himself increasingly isolated within the label he had helped build. The growing rift between Craig and Bad Boy became painfully apparent in the studio. Gene Deal, Diddy's bodyguard, observed that Craig often came to recording sessions alone, making him vulnerable during confrontations confrontations with Diddy. These solo appearances stood in stark contrast to the entourage that typically surrounded Biggie, highlighting the changing power dynamics within the label. As Biggie's star continued to rise, Craig's career began to stall. The lack of support from Diddy became increasingly evident, culminating in a humiliating incident where Craig approached Diddy for financial help, only to receive a mere $100 understees. This dismissive gesture spoke volumes about Diddy's attitude towards the artist who had once been Bad Boy's flagship talent. The strain of being pushed to the sidelines took its toll on Craig. Financial struggles, including a bankruptcy filing, hinted at the challenges he faced as his career with Bad Boy dwindled. The once promising partnership between Craig and Diddy had soured, leaving Craig feeling betrayed and undervalued.
He didn't have no money. He didn't have nothing to pay his bills or something. That's some legal jargon that I'm not even familiar with that one, bro.
I'm sorry. I was thinking about trying to do this to somebody because it was really in my heart to kill him. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna do it.
Craig Mack's frustration with Bad Boy had been simmering for months, but nobody could have predicted the explosive turn of events that was about to unfold. When opportunity knocked from an unexpected direction, it set off a chain reaction that would expose the dark underbelly of the music industry and forever change the relationship between Craig and Diddy. As Craig's career at Bad Boy stagnated, an unlikely savior emerged from the shadows. Suge Knight, the infamous CEO of Death Row Records and Bad Boy's fiercest rival, saw potential in Craig that Diddy seemed to have forgotten. Knight extended a lifeline to the struggling artist, offering him a chance to join Death Row with a generous recording budget and a substantial advance. For Craig, who had been feeling increasingly marginalized at Bad Boy, this proposition represented a potential escape from his creative and financial struggles. When word of Craig's potential defection reached Diddy, his reaction was swift and furious. The man who had once championed Craig as Bad Boy's first star now saw him as a traitor. According to Craig's wife, Roxanne Alexis Hill Johnson, Diddy's response was rooted in personal offense rather than business acumen. The idea of losing an artist to his bitter rival seemed to ignite a vindictive streak in Diddy, one that would have far-reaching consequences for Craig's career. The financial struggles Craig faced at Bad Boy were reaching a breaking point. Despite his early success, he found himself in dire straits, even filing for bankruptcy in an attempt to sever ties with the label. This desperate move illustrated just how trapped Craig felt, unable to move forward creatively or financially under Diddy's leadership. Roxanne Alexis Hill Johnson provided insight into the deteriorating relationship between Craig and Diddy, describing Diddy's behavior as increasingly hostile. She suggested that Diddy became a catalyst for Craig's downfall, using his influence to make things difficult for the artist who dared to consider leaving. The once promising partnership had devolved into a power struggle, with Craig fighting for creative control while Diddy attempted to change his lyrics and image. As tensions reached a boiling point, the final break between Craig and Bad Boy became inevitable. Despite Diddy's public statements claiming the split was due to creative differences and that he always supported Craig, the reality behind the scenes was far more acrimonious.
Eric B is like Hammer, one of them quiet gangsters that nobody really know about, and you don't really want a problem with them.
I said, you know what, man, I want to do these songs. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do this and that and the third, let's do it. You give me the money as we go.
Craig left Bad Boy feeling betrayed and undervalued. The artist who had put the label on the map now cast aside in favor of newer, more commercially viable acts. As Craig Mack faded from the spotlight, rumors swirled about his whereabouts and well-being, but the truth behind his disappearance was far more complex and tragic than anyone imagined. What secret was Craig hiding in his final years? After leaving Bad Boy Records, Craig Mack's life took a dramatic turn away from the glitz and glamour of the hip-hop world. He retreated from the music industry entirely, shocking fans and friends alike by joining the Overcomer Ministry, a religious group led by Ralph Gordon Stair. This radical shift marked a profound change in Craig's life, as he sought solace and purpose in spiritual teachings far removed from his past as a platinum-selling artist. Craig's involvement with the Overcomer Ministry was more than just a temporary phase. It became his new way of life. Friends and family were taken aback by the drastic nature of this change, with many struggling to understand his decision. Some believed that Craig turned to the ministry's teachings as a way to cope with the difficulties he faced after leaving Bad Boy, seeking a new sense of belonging and purpose in a world that had seemingly moved on without him. As time passed, conflicting narratives emerged about Craig's health and the circumstances surrounding his death. While initial reports cited congestive heart failure as the cause, a more complicated and heartbreaking truth lay beneath the surface.
Big did his shit on his own. Like when he was doing that Bone Thugs and Harmony, we was all in the studio together. Big was smoking.
Because we've known each other for so long, you know what I'm saying? It's like brother and sister, you know. But I was in my sister's car, and
Craig's family, including his first wife, Roxanne Hill Johnson, revealed that he had actually been diagnosed with HIV/AIDS. In a shocking twist, they claimed that Craig had chosen to tell people he was suffering from heart failure, using his involvement with the church as a shield to cope with his reality. Craig's brother Andrew shed light on the rapper's state of mind during his final years, stating, "He lived his truth to the end." This poignant observation hinted at Craig's complex relationship with his diagnosis and the difficult decisions he made regarding his treatment. Despite his declining health, Craig refused medical intervention, believing that seeking conventional treatment would contradict his newfound spiritual beliefs. The true extent of Craig's struggle only became clear in the months following his passing. His family grappled with unanswered questions about his life choices and the circumstances that led him to the Overcomer ministry. Craig's daughter Amanda spoke of the mystery surrounding much of her father's life, particularly his decision to join the religious group. Despite the pain and confusion, she expressed forgiveness for her father's choices. In a final act that underscored his commitment to his spiritual path, Craig chose to forgo a traditional funeral. Instead, he was buried on the grounds of the Overcomer ministry, a decision that elicited mixed feelings from friends and family about the influence the group had on his life.